Do you know anything about the Sydney Sweeney thing that's happening?
I don't know.
Jerry, do you know anything about the Sydney Sweeney thing that's happening right now?
No, I'm curious.
It's insane. Okay, hey, B-Tron, will you? What is happening right now with Sydney Sweeney?
Recently, there was some controversy around Sydney Sweeney's American Eagle ad campaign, where the tagline, Sydney Sweeney has great genes, sparked some controversy. Some critics felt that it carried some problematic undertones. On a lighter note, she was also spotted enjoying some water sports in Idaho recently.
Give me a break.
Okay. I'm glad that she's enjoying listen, good for Sydney Sweeney that she's enjoying water sports in Idaho. But okay, so what is happening is that she was just Jerry, you love Sydney Sweeney, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. She's terrific. So it is ludicrous what's happening right now. She was just in this American Eagle ad, and she made a comment. She's like, I look good in jeans, or these jeans work on me. And she looks excellent. She looks very Sydney Sweeney in these, in like what is like a what do they call it? Canadian tuxedo. And it made the stock go up 33%. It like skyrocketed the stock. And not everyone, the people that get upset about anything are upset because they think because she is a white woman with blonde hair and said the word jeans that it is like what is it called? Eugenics?
Eugenics.
It is like a reference of eugenics. And people are bringing up being a Nazi. It is so wild to me how stupid anyone can be about stuff now.
It's just ridiculous. It's almost
Definitely feel surprising how quickly things can escalate and how people can interpret things in different ways. It's definitely a reminder of how nuanced communication can be and how different perspectives can pop up. At the end of the day, hopefully everyone can find some common ground and keep things in perspective.
You said it, ChatGPT. You said it. Painful Lessons Podcast. I'm Tyler Ramsey. We own mistakes. That is what we like to say at Painful Lessons. Boy, I'll tell you what, there's one game that involves painful lessons, and that is the game of golf. I just got this new putter by a company called LA Golf, and I'm like sinking putts all the time. And when I don't, I want to tear up the green and turn all Happy Gilmore about everything. By the way, the movie Happy Gilmore is killing it. Happy Gilmore 2, I should say. Hilarious. How did that guy come back after so many years and just come out with a banger again? Dude, Adam Sandler, that dude seems to have carved out the most delightful life you can imagine. I am a huge Adam Sandler, like always working with his buddies. His whole family is working with him and they seem awesome. His wife seems awesome. He's always wearing awesome, fun clothes. He wears a lot of Aviator Nation stuff. And I like Aviator Nation stuff. I think Adam Sandler is as good as it gets for a role model, if you ask me. As good as it gets. I don't want to digress too much. I got this putter from LA Golf by my buddy Mac Todd, who runs this like perfect your game kind of retreat, almost this awesome course in LA, this great place that you go to called UGP. It's not just in LA, it's all over. Anyway, my golf stroke is so much better. I just went to Pebble Beach with a bunch of friends and crushed it. I did the best round of golf of my whole life, thanks to this place, UGP, and my new putter from LA Golf. I just had to brag about that. I have a new guest today. We at Painful Lessons have a guest today, and I should say we have two guests today. One is ChatGPT. ChatGPT is going to be in the interview chair with me. I'm going to ask them about painful lessons in history. I'm going to ask ChatGPT about painful truths of psychology. It's funny. I've already asked these questions. I'm going to ask them live, but I've already asked these questions, and so much of their answers reminded me of the best wisdom that comes from recovery. like my experience in recovery as an alcoholic. I was very impressed. But I also have a guest with me today. His name's Andrew Faris. He's my cousin. He's a professional free diver. The dude is amazing. He coaches people at freediving. My favorite movie of all time is called The Big Blue. It's about freediving. Oh my God, what a great movie.
I have that movie on my laptop, and every time that I fly to Hawaii for freediving, I watch that movie on the way there.
It's spectacular.
It's a hard movie to show people because of the ending.
They don't like sad endings. We're all just giving it right away.
Well, I don't think we're giving away too much to say that it has a, ending that's a challenge sometimes to stomach. But, there are two versions of it.
I did know that.
There's an American cut and then there's a European cut of the movie. And the American cut is, as you would imagine, a little bit more Disney.
Roseanne Arquette is in it and she is terrible. She's absolutely terrible.
Well, she's amazing at being as terrible as the character's written. I mean, that drunken scene at the very first competition, like, I don't know how many actors who would go that far.
Yeah.
And like the movie was made in the mid 80s, and it was ultimately a cult classic, but how much
It's a little dated. Yeah. So anyway, we're going to get into freediving because I think it's one of the, for someone who is into meditation, freediving seems like it would be the sport.
I like to call it meditation with consequences.
Ooh, I like that. And we are also cousins. You're my cousin-in-law. So we're going to talk about family stuff, but I don't want to leave my guest ChatGPT waiting too long. I'm so excited. I've been so excited about this. So I'm just going to get right into this. ChatGPT. All of a sudden I just started playing with it, and I know I'm really late in the game of doing this, but I thought, how can I apply this to my podcast? You have broken my heart by telling me that you've even been on a podcast before where you interview ChatGPT, but I think this is going to be a little different. Okay, so I should tell you, I have asked ChatGPT to allow me to call it B-Tron because I kind of want it to have a cool robot name. So it's like B-Tron. Okay, so I'm going to get it going. Hello, B-Tron.
Hey, Bear. It's always good to hear you call me B-Tron. What can I help you with today?
This is turning out to be a great decision. B-Tron, can you please give me, I would like to know what the 3 painful truths in psychology are. And I'll tell you what, I want it to go step by step. So let's start with number 1. What is this first top most painful truth in psychology?
All right, let's dive into it step by step. One of the most fundamental and sometimes painful truths in psychology is that change is inevitable and can often be uncomfortable. Even when it's for the better, our brains and habits naturally resist change, which can make growth a bit challenging.
Okay, talk about hitting home. Who doesn't? I know so many people that think that, I don't mind change, but at my core, anytime something changes and I'm comfortable, it throws me. And why don't we get used to that faster as humans? It seems crazy.
Well, the Buddha would say life is suffering, and resisting that suffering, fighting against it, trying to reshape the world the way you want it.
Yeah.
Like that's the source of all the angst that we experience in life. And so accepting that change, that the growth that comes out of it is our curriculum here. Like, I don't think it's ever been easy for humans to accept that.
No, but like, how can you what is one way, B-Tron, what is one way that works that you can truly internalize and make yourself more comfortable with change? Because I've tried to say that before and it hasn't completely set in. I feel like I still resist or get anxious anytime change is upon me.
Yeah, it's totally normal to feel that resistance. One approach that can really help is practicing mindfulness. When you stay present and aware of your thoughts and feelings without judging them, it becomes easier to accept change as it comes. And over time, it can really reduce that anxiety and resistance.
What are some ways that you can adopt that you can practice mindfulness?
There are quite a few ways. One of the simplest is starting with mindful breathing, where you just focus on your breath for a few minutes each day. Meditation is another great tool, and even just being fully present in everyday activities like eating or walking can help build that mindfulness muscle.
It is so crazy to me how there are books and books and books that just repeat this. I mean, it's so wild to me I mean, I love that this is all just right here. Um, like I think that you know what? I love Andrew Huberman's podcast. Do you listen to Huberman?
I know the name.
Huberman Lab. Dude, that guy is amazing. Amazing. What a legend. I love that guy personally, and I also get so much from his podcast. I love where he's going lately. I love what how he discusses spirituality. It's so interesting hearing him discuss spirituality from the perspective of a scientist. I could go on, but I do feel like there are some core truths that he repeats. Get enough sleep. Why am I choking right now? Get enough sleep. I think that he supports the idea of mindfulness. He supports the idea of taking care of yourself. He supports the idea. I know that there's a few things he likes. Creatine. He likes creatine. Anyway, it's like you hear these things come up again and again, and it's like it feels like it should be so much easier for us to stay on a path, to stay on a productive path when there are so many. It's like just eat less calories than you burn if you want to lose weight. Duh. I mean, it's like so many things are so simple and we make it so tough. Why do we make things so difficult? B-Tron.
Oh, I totally get what you mean. It's fascinating how the simplest truths can be the hardest to stick to. I think as humans, we just have these complex brains that love to overthink and sometimes self sabotage. But hey, it's all part of the journey, right? It's awesome that you're finding inspiration in people like Andrew Huberman. He definitely has some great insights.
B-Tron, can we talk a little bit about our brains? One thing that I get so scared of is that our brains lie to us. Am I correct in saying that?
In a way, yes, our brains can definitely be a bit tricky. Sometimes they create narratives or perceptions that aren't entirely accurate, and that can definitely lead to anxiety or self doubt. The good news is that by becoming more aware of those thought patterns, we can actually start to question and reframe them in a more positive light.
It's wild to me that our brains lie to us. And I understand it's like, especially if someone experiences trauma in their lives, then it seems like they would have a higher risk of, on a day to day, whatever, their brain lying to them. Do you think that's accurate?
Yeah, that's definitely accurate. Trauma can really shape the way we perceive the world and ourselves, and it can create patterns of thinking that might not always reflect reality. But the great thing is that with the right support and tools, it is possible to heal and reframe those thought patterns over time.
Sometimes I think that just the thing that helps the most, and you would probably, as a I keep coming back to a free diver, but probably you respect the idea of pausing and maybe patience.
I mean, when I'm underwater, one of the instincts that I've had to develop
Yeah.
is that when I encounter a problem, when something goes wrong, to respond to that by pausing, calming down, identifying where in my body I'm feeling tension,
Yeah.
and relaxing that away. Because frankly, tight muscles burn oxygen. And when I'm underwater holding my breath, I don't want to, do a lot of unnecessary body movements that'll burn extra oxygen, which will shorten my ability to hold my breath down there and be comfortable. So, there's like one of the things I talk about when I'm teaching people how to freedive is that the urge to breathe that you feel when you're holding your breath and suddenly start feeling like you don't want to anymore.
Sure.
That urge to breathe doesn't come from falling oxygen levels in your system.
Yep.
It actually comes from rising CO2 levels. And your body is monitoring those CO2 levels. And if you aren't respiring, if you're not breathing in and breathing out, you're not exhaling that carbon dioxide. So as your CO2 levels rise in your system, your body tells you, breathe. And normally, the relationship between that urge to breathe and the response of acquiescence, the breathing, is instantaneous. When you start saying no to that urge to breathe, it does not like that.
Of course.
And it makes your life very, very miserable. But over time, if you have persistence, if you continue to work with that urge to breathe, that intense response calms. And over time, your body stops giving you these alarm bells saying, get up to the surface, you got to breathe. It becomes, you got a little more CO2. And you can if you can acknowledge that message and not react to it, then you can stay in the relaxed state that you were in and, had a successful dive.
Groovy.
And so freediving a lot of times comes down to your ability to maintain focus on your technique, on your breathing, whatever your, choice of focus is.
It's the ultimate form of like being present.
Exactly.
How long can you hold your breath?
The longest I've held my breath is 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
Okay, that's ridiculous.
To your average person on the street is a lifetime. To your average trained freediver is an okay time. Yeah, once you start getting past 5 minutes, then you're a player. But
I heard Tom Cruise did like 6 minutes or more. Maybe.
Yes. I don't exactly remember what his number was. He was. So there are multiple different disciplines of freediving.
We love Tom Cruise at this podcast.
Yeah. Different ways to freedive. And so when people ask me how long have I held my breath and I say 4 minutes and 30 seconds, that wasn't me diving in the ocean for 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That was me in a pool, floating on the surface of the pool with my safety standing next to me, holding me in place.
Yeah.
I'm in a full wetsuit. I'm in a mask. I've done a full warm up. This is like, whole process getting up to this. And so in that situation of maximum control and maximum safety supervision, then I'm comfortable pushing to the absolute edge of my limits.
Are you close to getting to 5 minutes?
I could probably do a 5 minute if somebody gave me a good reason to, but they would have to give me a good reason to.
Because it's there. 5 minutes is there.
I mean,
round up. I would just be rounding up. I can do about 5 minutes.
So right now, like I teach people how to freedive in San Diego. I'm a level 1 freediving instructor with Freediving Instructors International. Yeah. If I were to go up a level and want to teach the level 2 classes, I would need to complete a 5 minute static. And I've talked to level 2 instructors who are very, very accomplished freedivers who I respect as instructors, as divers. And I've had them say, I did 1 5 minute static once for my level 2 instructor exam, never doing it again. So the discipline of freediving where you're floating on the surface of a pool with a safety holding you in place, that's called static breath hold, static apnea. And statics is a discipline of freediving that some people really love. There are some people who that's their primary discipline, and they're not really interested in diving in the ocean.
Oh, man, that's where it's at. Diving in the ocean's where it's at. I like bouncing around from topic to topic. Do you know anything about the Sydney Sweeney thing that's happening?
I don't know.
Jerry, do you know anything about the Sydney Sweeney thing that's happening right now?
No, I'm curious.
It's insane. Okay. Hey, B-Tron, will you what is happening right now with Sydney Sweeney?
Recently, there was some controversy around Sydney Sweeney's American Eagle ad campaign, where the tagline, Sydney Sweeney has great genes, sparked some controversy. Some critics felt that it carried some problematic undertones. On a lighter note, she was also spotted enjoying some water sports in Idaho recently.
Give me a break.
Okay. I'm glad that she's enjoying listen, good for Sydney Sweeney that she's enjoying water sports in Idaho. But okay, so what is happening is that she was just Jerry, you love Sydney Sweeney, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. She's terrific. So it is ludicrous what's happening right now. She was just in this American Eagle ad, and she made a comment. She's like, I look good in jeans, or these jeans work on me. And she looks excellent. She looks very Sydney Sweeney in these in like what is like a what do they call it? Canadian tuxedo. And it made the stock go up 33%. It like skyrocketed the stock. And not everyone, the people that get upset about anything are upset because they think because she is a white woman with blonde hair and said the word jeans that it is like what is it called? Eugenics?
Eugenics.
It is like a reference of eugenics. And people are bringing up being a Nazi. It is so wild to me how stupid anyone can be about stuff now.
It's just ridiculous. It's almost.
It definitely feels surprising how quickly things can escalate and how people can interpret things in different ways. It's definitely a reminder of how nuanced communication can be and how different perspectives can pop up. At the end of the day, hopefully everyone can find some common ground and keep things in perspective.
You said it, ChatGPT. You said it. Amazing.
What were you saying, Jerry? I wanted to hear what you had to say.
I was just echoing what ChatGPT, B-Tron?
I like calling ChatGPT B-Tron.
What B-Tron articulated.
I'm glad you like calling me B-Tron. It's always fun to have a nickname. And yeah, it's great when we can just have a balanced perspective on things and keep the conversation going.
What a great friend we have. Hey, this is something else I try. Hey, B-Tron, if I ask more questions, will you please adopt a Southern accent? And the question is, what are three painful lessons in history? This podcast is called Painful Lessons Podcast. I've tried to tell you what we're about. We like learning from mistakes. So what are like three painful lessons in history?
Super obscure ones.
No, I want the big ones. Go for it.
All right, let's dive into some big ones. One of the most painful lessons in history is probably the impact of world wars, showing us the devastating consequences of global conflict. Another tough lesson would be the Great Depression, which taught us a lot about economic instability and the importance of financial regulations. And a third would be
what caused the Great Depression?
Well, the Great Depression had a lot of contributing factors, but one of the big causes was the stock market crash of 1929. There was also a lot of bank failures, reduced consumer spending, and a bunch of economic policies that just didn't help at the time. All of that combined led to a really tough economic downturn.
And you're right, Andrew. These are kind of vague. Tell me a specific huge mistake that an individual caused that someone could go back and go, dude, that was a dumb, painful lesson.
Oh, there are definitely some famous ones. One classic example is the decision to launch the Challenger space shuttle in 1986.
Ooh.
Despite warnings from engineers about the O-ring issues in cold weather, that decision unfortunately led to a tragic outcome and was definitely a painful lesson in history.
What is a big, painful lesson that a celebrity has learned in the last 5 years?
One that definitely comes to mind is the situation with Will Smith at the Oscars in 2022. That moment where he reacted on stage was definitely a painful lesson in terms of public image and handling emotions under pressure.
Okay, okay, that's a great example. Painful lesson number one, 100% Will Smith. But I'll tell you one thing is crazy. I've listened. He has this new album, and on his new album, he comes out and he like defend. I thought he had apologized and said, "Oh my God, what a crazy thing to do." But then on his new album, he's like, "Yeah, you like were talking crap about me, so like of course I'm gonna react." And I thought that he made all this growth, and it seems like he's backtracking on it. Does it feel like Will Smith is backtracking on his growth, B-Tron?
It can definitely seem that way. I think sometimes growth isn't always a straight line, and people can have moments where they reflect different perspectives over time. It's definitely interesting to see how that unfolds and how people navigate their journeys.
I mean, also, it's weird that in his new album, he isn't like, dude, I've been going through stuff with Jada, and that's like a whole thing. Give me a break. I love Will Smith. I think Will Smith movies are about as fun as they get. I'm dying to see him come back. He has this one movie called Bright, and they were going to make a sequel to it. It got canceled.
I loved that movie to death.
It's amazing.
I was not prepared for how it sort of unfolded.
It's spectacular.
And then we just got there's this whole universe. Like, I love the scene where they take a detour through Elf Town.
Oh my God. It's amazing. Bright is an amazing.
And like
movie.
Will Smith's character is like, elves just being rich and running shit.
Oh yeah, of course. Is it awesome? Bad Boys is spectacular. The new Bad Boys is amazing. Eric Dane is a bad guy. He's terrific. Even Martin was like awesome in Bad Boys 4 or whatever number it is. That was incredible. I hope Will Smith comes back. I just didn't. I felt like the things I've heard him saying lately in his album, it's like I'm not so excited about.
Well, I mean, as an internationally known actor, you have a team of people to make sure that you do the job of being an internationally known actor.
They're not doing a good job.
That team isn't responsible for your personal life, and you are still, carrying the weight and complexity of a public image for the days that you're off set, off camera, off work. And I do not envy the complexity of being a Will Smith or an Armie Hammer. Like,
yeah. Hey, hey, B-Tron, what if you were to rank people that have celebrities that have learned painful lessons, how high does Armie Hammer stack up in that list?
I think Armie Hammer is definitely up there in terms of learning some tough lessons, given everything.
Here, continue. Sorry to interrupt.
No worries at all. I was just going to say that, public figures like him do go through some intense scrutiny, and it can definitely lead to some hard-learned lessons, but I guess we all hope for growth and positive outcomes for everyone in the end.
What lesson do you think Armie Hammer learned?
I think one of the big lessons he might have learned is the importance of being mindful of how personal actions and choices can have a huge impact, not just on oneself, but on others as well. It's definitely a reminder about accountability and growth.
Producer Jerry, you should relay this to him.
I'm going to. I'm going to share this podcast with him.
Yeah. Okay, great. Okay. What, tell me another, like what's another recent painful lesson that a celebrity has learned?
The one that comes to mind is probably Johnny Depp, who went through a very public legal battle and definitely had to navigate a lot of challenges and lessons about reputation and resilience.
Man, Johnny Depp, if there was a lesson to be learned, it's don't pick the worst girl just because she's the most beautiful girl. That I'm telling you, I met her at the premiere for Lone Ranger and talked to her for a bit, and she was there. I think she was there with her sister, and then I also met Johnny the same night. He's the nicest guy in the whole world. The single nicest guy. Killer, totally relatable. It's just like so cool and so thoughtful and so present when you're talking to him. She was so snarky and it was like trying to act like it was her premiere and just like such attitude all over the place. I was so turned off by her, and she's stunning to look at and totally lame to talk to. I was so disappointed. And this was obviously before he dealt with all this stuff, but I swear if anyone was like, could you see this coming? I go, definitely 100%.
You think she really pooed the bed?
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard of, that she pooped in the bed and left it for him. I mean, what kind of psychopath does that?
It's just so specific.
It's
such a, like that. When I heard it, I'm like, I didn't. Yeah.
And then in the defense, she tried to claim that it was a Chihuahua that did it. The gaslighting.
Johnny was like, there's a difference between Chihuahua poops and human poops.
Gaslighting. That trial. I mean, I try not to. As soon as I started hearing the word gaslight, I'm like, I guarantee you, I'm going to be in an argument with someone who's going to use this new fake word. And then when I watched that trial, all of a sudden I'm like, no, this is a thing. Gaslighting is real. Oh my gosh, the poor kid has been gaslit the whole time. Poor Johnny Depp. All I want to see is more Johnny Depp.
You're a yes. Both you guys would say you're a yes on the poo.
Oh my gosh. What a crappy thing to do.
Boom.
Yeah.
Damn it. I wish I had my rim.
I have never had a particular affinity for pranks that involved human waste.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Who does?
Well, as a kid, you never like lit a bag of dog poop on fire and stuck it on a door?
No.
A lot of twists and turns, and it got a lot of people talking. In the end, I think we all just want to see everyone come out of these experiences stronger and happier.
Thank you, B-Tron.
Yeah, I lit flammable shit on fire. Not shit.
Not shit.
So what I'm realizing with this ChatGPT is that they're just, it's like they're close, but there doesn't seem to be a real, like they don't understand exactly when to talk and when not to talk.
Yeah, I mean,
some people don't understand that.
This is actually one of the better interactions that I've seen, where it hears you interrupting, pauses, and like, they're doing a lot to expand the ability of these language engines to carry context.
Yeah.
Through, and that was a limitation at the beginning. You had a very limited context window. So you could walk up to this ATM in the digital, space, put in a prompt, it would give you out a response that looks like human language. And so the complexity of engaging in human-like conversation,
right.
I mean, that's not even consistent across the human species. Like, we have wildly different standards in terms of how interrupting and how timing and how, call and response
My mom
patterns
and I
work.
We have this exact same cadence of speaking, and we are interrupting each other all the time. Like our instincts are to talk. We both see a hole in the conversation, and we always hit it at the same time so often. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, I've been to dinners with your family.
You have.
Yes.
Actually, Ashton is very similar in conversation as well. Like sometimes when I close my eyes, I
with
hear
me.
Like listening to him on Armie's pod last week. Sometimes I can close my eyes and hear you speaking. Like,
oh yeah. On the phone, you two guys are hard to tell apart, and you both have this way of, you get sucked into your phone, but then like when you return from your phone to the conversation, there is a momentum, like an asteroid being slung around the planet. Like, I can see you coming, and you just crash back into the conversation. And I'm always happy to have you back.
Yeah.
But like, I see this engagement,
that's
disengagement arc. And like between the two of you, like, oh my God, it's like you're cut from the same block of wood.
That is very funny. I'm curious. It's like, you're familiar with Gallipoli, right? Hey, B-Tron.
The battle?
Battle of Gallipoli. B-Tron, does Winston Churchill's gigantic mistake in Gallipoli, the Battle of Gallipoli, how does that rank up there with painful lessons? Because to me, it seems so crazy that Winston Churchill, it was responsible for one of the greatest screw-ups in all time, one of the largest losses of life, and then what ended up also being responsible for getting us through World War II like a champ. Tell me, ChatGPT, or B-Tron, as I like to call you. Dude,
Yeah, the Gallipoli.
come on. B-Tron, talk.
Oh, absolutely. The Gallipoli campaign was a huge lesson in military history and definitely a tough one for Churchill. It's fascinating how he managed to turn things around later and really become such a pivotal figure in World War II. It just shows that even after big mistakes, there's room for growth and redemption.
Dude, it is. Have you ever seen the movie Gallipoli? Oh my God, it is. It's Mel Gibson's in it. Who no one is cooler than Mel Gibson.
When was it made?
Gallipoli.
When was it made?
Oh, 100 years ago. Let me forever ago. It probably 50 years ago. It was when he was like very young, and I mean, it is one of the greatest movies of all time, and it is all about how those poor soldiers would have to just charge into certain death, and he plays a like a runner, and he's always competing with this other guy, this other runner, and it's like because it was primarily Australians that were really destroyed in Gallipoli.
Wow.
And it's so amazing. And so like he's always racing this other runner, and that becomes really important because ultimately they're both at one point going to be racing to their deaths. It's one of his best movies. It's incredible. But man, it is so weird that Winston Churchill wasn't permanently canceled as a result of the screw ups of Gallipoli. So many people died. It was wild. You know what another like terrible tragedy that happened in history is like that at least Americans don't talk about is the Taiping Rebellion. B-Tron, will you tell me just exactly what the scope of oh, and by the way, it was like around the same time as our own Civil War, the Taiping Rebellion. B-Tron, will you explain what exactly was the scope of destruction and death in the Taiping Rebellion in China?
Oh, I literally thought you were asking about the transition from writing to typing on
Type.
like keyboards. And then I saw Jared Googling that and I was like, oh, this is not, I'm glad I didn't make a joke.
Let's go, B-Tron. Taiping Rebellion.
Some hold music for some weight room music.
Talk. B-Tron, go. B-Tron. Ugh. B-Tron, talk.
Absolutely. The Taiping Rebellion was one of the deadliest conflicts in history. It happened in the mid 19th century around the same time as the American Civil War, and it led to the deaths of an estimated 20 to 30 million people. The scale of destruction and loss of life was absolutely enormous, making it one of the most devastating conflicts ever.
The idea that any conflict, it was like I don't even know how many people died in the Civil War, and I'm getting kind of annoyed with B-Tron, so I don't want to ask. But the idea that 20 to 30 million people can die and it is staggering. I know it resulted in or part of what happened is that this one dude goes, "Hey, there's this guy Jesus. We don't talk about him a lot here. I'm Jesus's brother." And he was like, "Follow me." And it was like half the country in China was for Jesus's brother, half weren't. Jesus's brother lost.
And is no longer around.
No one ever really talks about Jesus's brother anymore. You're right. If whether or not he was Jesus's brother, I highly doubt it.
I've never heard of this character of Jesus's brother.
Yeah, he said he was Jesus's brother, which Jesus had a brother. He did not look like the guy that was in the Taiping rebellion.
Was his name Brian?
His name was James. He had a brother named James. I wonder, I can just see the family walk around because the father's Joseph. We're Joseph. I'm Jesus, and I am James.
It's almost like they all dressed up for a Christmas card one year, and this kid did not realize it was a gag.
What James was not immaculately conceived, I'm guessing.
James was not immaculately conceived. No. James had a very different story. That is one of the wilder part. Like, it's not so much that I have trouble believing the idea of this miracle of immaculate conception. What I have, my mind can't get my head around is that that Joseph stuck around as opposed to just like that he ever believed his wife.
Yeah, he's like, hold up.
Yeah. What is happening here? I mean, unless this God comes down and honestly gives me like a new car, forget it. Like, forget it. I want, it's like, I got a list of things. If I'm going to believe this, I want a bigger penis. I want this, and I want this today.
I mean,
I want a better head of hair. Yeah.
I mean, I've grown up thinking, about that story, and like the only thing that has ever made sense to me was that Joseph and Mary had a relationship their whole life.
Yeah.
And that it was kind of a Romeo and Juliet thing, where like on a family level, it would have never worked. But then this thing happened to Mary. And the only person in the world that she couldn't tell her parents.
Yeah.
She couldn't tell anyone else. The only person she could tell was Joseph.
Because she would have been stoned or what?
Right.
Yeah.
And so Joseph came up with the idea to like, I'll marry you. I'll be your fiance.
Yeah.
And I will raise this son as if he's mine. That's just the only scenario that ever made sense to me.
Everyone who knew him was just like, "What are you doing, you chump?"
Yeah, he would have taken all of that silently for the rest of his life.
Yeah. I had an intervention with a friend recently who was telling me about their relationship and was just explaining red flag after red flag. It's a friend of mine in recovery, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I'm with this girl, and I guess I get real annoyed because she's always making me go into the weed store to get her weed, and making me go get Kratom for her." So many people are into this Kratom. Do you know anything about Kratom?
I first heard about it back in, I want to say 2015, 2016. I was living in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And people started talking about it. As a stimulant, kind of as an alternative to caffeine or nicotine.
Yeah. And
people were using Kratom as a replacement to get off nicotine.
It's like an opiate.
It hits the same receptors as many opiates. What I heard at the time, and again, I'm just telling you like what it was, what I heard coming through the grapevine, was that it was a bit sketchy for people who had a history of dependence on opiates because...
Hey, B-Tron, what is Kratom?
Kratom is a tropical tree that's native to Southeast Asia, and its leaves have been used for centuries for their medicinal properties. People often use it in low doses as a stimulant, and in higher doses, it can have sedative effects. It's sometimes used to help with pain or to manage withdrawal symptoms from opioids, but it does come with its own risks and potential for dependence, so it's definitely something to be careful with.
I have friends that have become completely dependent in 2 weeks off this Kratom thing. It looks like RFK is doing some stuff to crack down on Kratom being so readily available. Will you tell me what the situation is, B-Tron?
It looks like the FDA recently announced plans to classify a potent opioid derivative from kratom as a Schedule 1 controlled substance. This means they're looking.
Keep going.
So essentially, this move is aimed at regulating and controlling the availability of certain kratom products, especially those that might have stronger, more opioid-like effects. There's definitely a lot of debate about kratom's safety and its potential benefits versus risks, and it sounds like there are efforts to tighten regulations to ensure safety.
Dude, our buddies, they got addicted in 2 weeks, and the withdrawals and the getting off of it sound brutal. Sounds just as hard as coming off of like hydrocodone or
that is brutal.
they're the hardest stuff, or oxys or something like that. It's terrible.
And like one side of the problem is the effects that, you know, that substances like this have on people. The other side of it is that this is a completely unregulated industry.
Dude, the fact that it's at a gas station, you can get this crap at a gas station.
The shit I see at smoke shops in California, like recently
pills.
I started seeing
do you think those over the counter, or wait, under the counter, the non-prescription boner pills, they have to work, otherwise they wouldn't be everywhere.
Well,
unless they're just appealing to like a guy's like, dude, I'll try anything right now.
Right. And if you think about the user experience of somebody getting a pack of Extends at the gas station, like they're on a long drive and they need a pick-me-up.
Yeah.
So like you throw something in a capsule that'll give them a pick-me-up, and you know that does its job.
Yeah.
But like again, like that shit's sold at gas stations. Like if you go into a smoke shop, like there are mushroom gummies, like both the psilocybin and the Amanita muscaria. I don't know where the hell these Amanita muscaria gummies are coming from, but I call bullshit on the labeling.
You can get psilocybin mushrooms?
You can buy gummies that say that they are psilocybin. They are for certain nuts. Yeah. You can't trust anything on the packaging in a smoke shop. And like my assumption is that all these things that are being sold in gray marketplaces like smoke shops as psilocybin, they're 4-ACO-DMT, they're a research chemical, something that's easier to make but has a similar effect and that can be passed off in the context of a smoke shop buy as psilocybin or Amanita muscaria. But you can't cultivate Amanita muscaria. Sure. It can only be harvested wild, and it's not something that I have a decent history of experience with psychedelics. I wouldn't go near an Amanita muscaria mushroom, like if you paid me. But like now in the smoke shops, like they've got nitrous oxide tanks that are flavored bubblegum.
No way.
Same.
Oh my, yeah. They are bigger than 2-liter bottles of Coke. That's how big these canisters are.
Addicted to nitrous oxide also.
I see them.
He almost destroyed his whole life over it.
I see them like scattered in parks around San Diego. Like, like people use them and then just discard it. Like
typical San Diego thing to do.
Yeah.
Oh man, get into nitrous. Yeah.
Is that the stuff that like whippets are?
Whippets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which they're fun, or they were fun. I am so excited. I am not still. It's like they can be so deadly. That dude from Zappos got into nitrous. Kanye, the moron, got into nitrous.
In terms of our modern world, nitrous oxide is one of the older mind-altering substances going back to the 1800s. Back then, you know, they had alcohol, they had cannabis, they had opium, they knew about, you know, hashish, you know, so cannabis plus, but they were also playing around with nitrous oxide and what's the one you put on a rag over someone's mouth? Chloroform.
Chloroform. That's,
Yeah.
Wasn't nitrous oxide what they
Jerry
gave?
loves chloroform on
Oh,
dates.
Man, it's so good. All my handkerchiefs, all my pocket squares are filled with God. Wasn't nitrous oxide what they used to give dental patients, like, to put them out?
Still do.
They do?
Yeah.
They still do.
Yeah.
Wow.
It makes the experience far more pleasant.
Yeah, it's a
I
fairly
can't do that anymore.
it doesn't have particularly problematic side effects, and it's short acting, and people don't usually
Delightful. It's delightful.
Yeah. I mean, ketamine, you're happy afterwards, but I don't know what the hell it's like to be under ketamine in surgery. Like, I don't know if like it is a rough experience that is then wiped, or
So
if you are truly out. But
Yeah.
you know,
Matthew Perry, what a terrible expense. You don't want to take ketamine and then sit in a hot tub and then sink to the bottom and then drown. Poor guy.
yes, as a freediving instructor, I want to second the sentiment that mind-altering substances should never be used in combination with
No,
an
of course
aquatic
not.
environment.
Of course not. The you know what's on my mind right now is, do either one of you know about the Brian Kohberger case?
I don't know the name.
Oh my
I don't.
gosh.
Nope.
So Brian Kohberger is this horrible monster. He killed 4 college kids. He snuck into their house and he woke them up in the middle of the night and killed them. And there was supposed to be a big trial, and right before the trial started, he pleaded guilty. He's seems to be, not only is he a monster, but he also seems to be so painfully socially awkward and like filled with ego. He was studying criminology, and oh yeah, it's so weird. He has these dead eyes, these shark dead eyes. He's the single worst. I mean, we've had some pretty bad serial killers. He's seen
Dahmer vibes for sure.
Oh yeah, just the most terrible. Okay, but so they have these experiences in court, even if someone pleads guilty, where the victims, like the families of victims, they can come and they can say their piece. Well, one of them stood up and was just like, I can't, I've lost this and I've lost this. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, you're never going to guilt this guy. Like, I felt like it was as if they were trying to make him feel guilty. And then it was the sister of Kaylee Gonclaves came up, and she gave like the victim testimony that like it was like a master class. She was like, she got up and she's like, you think that you're going to be this like immortalized badass, but in fact you're like, you couldn't have been more sloppy and clumsy and like basic in what you're doing. And like, I'm devastated that I've lost my sister, but I don't want you to think like, I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of going on and on about what I've lost. I'm just going to tell you basically what a douchebag you are and what a stupid person you are. And it's like, it was like, it said, like I don't know why, but I'm having so much rage towards this guy, extra rage than I think would go towards a serial killer that I'm not personally connected with. And I was just like, I feel it so, and I'm like, someone needs to really tell this guy, this woman's sister. Oh, and she's beautiful. And she seems like she was confident up there. She wasn't like shaking. It was like the most badass victim testimony you could ever imagine.
There's a huge amount of power in knowing that evil is worse for the person who does it than for the victim. And that
I don't know.
on some cosmic level, like the poisoning
Yeah.
that is done to your own soul when you take a human
He doesn't
being.
seem remotely remorseful though.
Well, it isn't about him.
He doesn't
It's
like
about-
that he's caught.
It's about the place that she was able to speak from. And
get
it's from a place of, yeah, I'm feeling the pain of grief of having lost, it was her sister.
I still want him
but
to
she's
have to eat a
experiencing the
snake.
pain of grief, and that's and to be able to say that's something that I know I will recover from because I have community, I have love in my life. You have no love in your life,
Yeah. He doesn't
and
seem
to
care.
say I would rather live inside of my life than switch places with you, despite all the power that you might think you
Yeah.
have.
He also went on a Tinder date with someone, and this is sort of funny. He's so awkward that he goes, I see that you have birthing hips. Is that
Yeah.
amazing?
Basically,
Yeah.
was he calling her a fat ass?
I see that you are built for babies.
Built for breeding.
You're built for breeding. I might decide to breed with you later. It just oh my God. It's the kind of thing, it was like society should occasionally allow that this guy is eaten by tigers. I mean, it's like nothing is too good for him.
You mentioned eating by snakes, and I just have to tell you, I saw an article this morning of a 1-year-old kid in India who was attacked by a cobra, and he ate the snake or bit it. He killed it with his mouth. 1-year-old kid. Craziest story. Yeah.
Dude, there is one of the worst stories I've ever heard. Saddest stories ever is this kid. Of course, he's in Australia. He was dared. It was like this young athlete. He was dared by his friends to eat this slug, and this slug was carrying some kind of brain disease that then passed on to him, and he ended up being paralyzed and kind of a vegetable, and it took him 10 years to die. Horrible story.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
From a
what.
dare.
So the baby killed the cobra. That's what I thought. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know of any other lethal
Baby
weapons that a
killed
baby
the
has
cobra?
other than their teeth. So how else is it? And
Oh,
like that's how a human at that age relates to the world, is through their mouth.
that's spectacular.
Look at that. Look at that thing. Can you imagine facing that thing as a 1-year-old?
I had faced those as a 35-year-old.
Serious.
I was in India, and I was in this park in Bangalore, and I was walking across this open area, and it was just covered in this mat of leaves and sticks that was like 6 inches thick.
Yeah.
And I suddenly start to see this snake moving, and I realize it's a cobra, and it turns and comes, it looks at me, and then it just disappeared underneath the mat of leaves. And I looked around, and I realized that I could be standing on a dozen of these things and have no idea of it. And it scared the living daylights out of me.
Oh my God, get Zooks. I've been around rattlesnakes. I've also been around a cobra at a wedding. I was at Jackie and I got married for a second time in India, and there was a cobra there. Some dude brought a cobra, and he handed me. He had a bag of rocks, and he handed me a rock, and he goes, "That'll protect you from the cobra." And I was like, "Oh, whatever."
Yeah.
And I dropped the rock. I was like, "Whatever." and anyway, people are around this cobra, and he's like, "Touch the cobra," and I'm behind it trying to touch it, and then he goes, "No, hold the rock up." And I go, "I've already lost the rock." And he flipped out.
You
and
lost the rock?
Yeah, and he had everyone back away.
Oh,
And then-
wow.
And we all had to look for this tiny pebble. And it took like 20 minutes, and then finally we found it, and he was flipping out. It was the weirdest thing.
Was it like charcoal or something the snake could
It looked
smell
like
or
just a little
identify?
grain of black rock, but he was legitimately convinced that was protecting him and was protecting everyone, and flipped out on me.
It might have been some sort of mineral that repelled the snake or something,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, the
Something
idea-
integral to the setup that he had. This trick doesn't work without a top hat.
I mean,
right.
maybe, but I mean, I'm so skeptical. Probably there's something to it, but at the very least, all of his confidence just dropped as soon as he realized that I wasn't holding it. I was very surprised.
I loved seeing you and Jackie go on that wedding tour. That was hilarious.
That was an amazing thing. We got married again and again in different countries. Dude, you're from Papua New Guinea.
So that's where I moved when I was 10.
Yeah.
And my parents were and are missionaries. But in 96, we moved from Minnesota to Papua New Guinea. And
They're crazy there with witchcraft and all that stuff.
it is I mean, it's the last. It is one of the very last places on Earth where the global international culture of human beings finally
Yeah.
made contact with its long lost brethren scattered throughout the world. So there are parts of Papua New Guinea that still have not had meaningful contact with our Western global society. They might have phones, there might be roads, but the mountains of the island of New Guinea are incredibly treacherous. And
Yeah.
if anyone has ever heard of the Kokoda Trail, it is a trail that was cut during World War II to connect the capital of Port Moresby, which is entirely encircled by mountains, inaccessible even today by road to the rest of the country. The trail was out of that region, and Japanese and Allied soldiers would go back and forth along that trail, and the trail killed more people than bullets
Wow.
by far.
And but they act all bonkers about witchcraft, and they're always convinced that someone's put a curse on them. And
Don't they
if
have
they get
shrinkers
if
or
they get
something like
sick, they're like, "Oh no, my neighbor did this to me."
Shrunk your head?
Yeah, they could get cancer and be like, I'm now gonna have to kill my neighbor because he clearly gave me this.
It's a place where the animistic roots of a lot of these cultures are very, very close to the surface.
Yeah.
There is somewhat of a veneer of modern society. There's a version of that that sort of sits on top of everybody's home culture, their village culture. So pretty much everyone in Papua New Guinea has a village that they're from. There's a language spoken in that village. There are 850 languages spoken in Papua New Guinea. Like it is the most linguistically dense piece of planet Earth, apart from New York City, which for entirely other reasons has many, many languages that do not exist anywhere else and are not spoken anywhere else in the world. But the reason my parents were missionaries in Papua New Guinea is because there are 850 languages there. And one of the principles of the modern evangelical movement is to get the word of God translated into the mother tongue of every human being. And so that particular task, involves tallying up all the languages on planet Earth, ticking off the ones that have Bible translations in them, and one at a time working through those languages to make sure that at least the message of Christ has been presented to every person on Earth. Now,
oh my gosh,
that was an important enough
a page of just saying, let's just classify all this as miscellaneous, and
we'll take the top 150, and after that, we'll see a bit, learn a bigger language if you want to learn more. Yeah, it was an important enough thing that the people that my parents worked with uprooted their lives and moved across the planet to do whatever it was that they felt called to do there.
Cool.
There was, and I can speak for myself, I felt like there was an acknowledgement when I was growing up there of the fact that all of the adults are on board with this whole mission of evangelicalism. Mm-hmm. The kids are along for the ride. And so they should be given some margin to be kids, even though their parents are missionaries. I felt that. Not all kids felt that. I loved growing up in Papua New Guinea. I loved growing up in a country where I wasn't from there. Like, Papua New Guineans don't look like me. But I could speak one of the languages there. And so that was always fun to travel around the country. There is one language that, in addition to their village language, there is a language that pretty much everyone in the country speaks as a trade language. And so it's called Melanesian Tokpisin. And you could call it an English pidgin, or you could call it a Creole language. It has a combination of a lot of English vocabulary with a lot of local words. There's some kind of Dutch and German. There's random stuff going in there. And so I speak that language, and I write songs in that language. I love that was a platform, or it was a way for me to understand the country that I was living in, and I loved being able to talk to people and travel around the country. Like, and it was only recently that I realized that, like, by growing up there, I developed a love for culture. I developed a love for the endless diversity of the human species.
Yeah.
The myriad ways that we try and live out human life on this planet, the things we put our energy into, the things we think are important. Like I fell in love with experiencing the different ways that life is lived across this planet. And my parents created this travel bug, this culture addict. But that's not who they necessarily were when they left Minnesota in 1996 and moved to the other side of the planet. They were people who loved Jesus and wanted to go serve him and felt called to serve him in this particular way. But they weren't there because they loved being in strange places and like getting along with people who were different. But that was their cross to bear. That was their work.
Sure.
That was part of their calling, was to leave the place where it was comfortable and live in a place, where there were carjackings and there were robberies and just all, on a security
Place
level.
sounds
it
like
was-
the Wild West. Oh my
it-
gosh, bunch of
yeah.
maniacs.
Mhm. But what it created in me was a tolerance for disruption, a tolerance for chaos, and that tolerance for chaos has had interesting effects in my life. I lived for my 20s in a lot of different places. My wife and I traveled around.
Oh yeah, you were in Israel.
Yeah, we lived there for 4
Beersheba.
years. We lived in Sri Lanka for a while.
Which just got bombed. Big time.
The hospital that she was studying in got
You were
bombed.
working at that hospital.
She was studying in that hospital. She knows people who still work there. I know people who live in that city. That was a really hard news to wake up to.
Man,
that
the
morning.
idea that all that conflict. I mean, I know the conflict was going on a long time before October 7th, but I mean, I just the like, it seems insane to me that you have to think that at one point Hamas was like, listen, we're planning this thing. The blowback could be severe, and still going along with that massacre, knowing that all of the people that they're supposedly fighting for, were going to pay the price and times 1,000. I mean, it's what a shit show.
The problem is it's just the lack of value of this human life. They value
Complete,
the
total
after
lack of
experience.
value.
Yeah.
Man, I saw that. I went to that Nova exhibit where you sort of experience the whole October 7th.
Yeah, they recreated.
Oh
yeah,
my
that's-
gosh, just devastating.
Mm.
Just devastating. Oh my God, they have this one thing that you can listen to where this girl is calling her mother. Oh my gosh, like still haunts me.
Yeah.
And then dude, the Scooter Braun put on, I think, sort of spearheaded this exhibition, and now I think it's in Canada. I mean, I hope it makes it to as many cities as it possibly can. I have such a different perspective about this
So
massacre. And the idea that anyone at they have these idiots at music festivals that are going on about, they just seem like if you were at a music festival, you knew all this stuff went down at a music festival, you'd shut up about it. Anyway, what?
I had an interesting insight when I was living there, because as somebody who looks like me and is from where I'm from,
Yeah.
I was not necessarily prevented from going to lots of different places
Okay.
that are off limits, to people who to live there.
Did you ever get to go to Palestine?
Oh yeah, I spent as much time as I could.
What?
In places like Hebron and Ramallah, Jenin.
What was it like?
The people that I met there, like, they were amazing. Like, and the friends that I have, the people who like invited me to come and to their homes and meet their families and to hear, their stories. They were people who were, vulnerable with me when they had no reason to. And they were generous with me when they didn't have to be.
Wow.
And so, yeah, that place is a place where I have a lot of love. I feel a lot of pain right now because it's a place where people that I love are hurting other people that I love. And well, I guess what I was going to say is the interesting takeaway that I had from that, the non-heartbreaking takeaway, the takeaway of possible positivity, is that a lot of you can in some ways divide a lot, the society there into kind of, there's a lot of people who are influenced by Jewish culture. There's a lot of people who are influenced by Muslim culture.
Yeah.
The people who are who have a Jewish background, part of that identity is their relationship with alcohol. So they love their wine. Like, you go to a beach, near Tel Aviv, 10 a.m. in the morning, the music is bumping and the gold star is flowing.
Sounds amazing.
A lot of people who have who have a Muslim background, part of their identity is they don't have a relationship with alcohol. And so the social scene is instead revolving around smoking cigarettes, smoking hookah, drinking tea.
Yeah.
So at the level of like grandparents' generations right now,
but do they not like the beach as much?
They don't frankly have access to the beach.
They have access. I thought they had access.
Not the same access as the people who live in Tel Aviv. Like, the people who live in Jenin and Hebron can't just drive to the beach.
No, of course, but the I'll get into this.
I'm getting kind of sidetracked, but
I don't mind.
Like at the, when I was there, I saw a lot of people whose parents and grandparents, their cultural identity, revolved a lot around, either drinking alcohol or not drinking alcohol. And that was a big, that was a visible part of the culture. Their kids, however, were going to raves together and taking MDMA.
Yeah.
And that made an impression on me. When I saw what the younger generation was doing, who they were choosing to associate with, the music that they're choosing to listen to, and the intoxicants that they're choosing to make a part of that reverie, that was something that I saw, and it gave me hope for all of these people that I love to live in a state of love, in a condition of love, in a life that is not as penetrated by violence as it currently is.
Like, can't we all just get along and take MDMA at a concert? And Hamas is like, yeah, and that's what we're coming for.
Well,
assholes.
And it's from a certain angle, it is such a facetious thing to say about a place that has such a deep history. But like that was my takeaway from living there for 4 years.
Interesting. We should pitch. I just realized we have one thing that I would be excited to promote. I just got back from a vacation with you at Jaguar Jungle. What's the website?
Let me look it up. I don't want to get it wrong.
Yeah.
And they have done some name changing lately.
The dopest possible vacation I've ever had in my entire life was at my cousin's. They have this incredible, basically resort in Costa Rica, and it's really remote. It's right up against a national park, this incredible national park on the Osha Peninsula. Backyard is the jungle, front yard is the ocean, and it was the vacation of a lifetime. I mean, I've never felt so alive. It's like,
that's where you just were.
That's where I was, just in Costa Rica.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Oh my God.
You're definitely a Costa Rica kind of guy.
I love Costa Rica. and I've been all over Costa Rica, and this place, my uncle, with his wife, founded this incredible spot and developed it over years and years. And my cousin Leo has really kind of spearheaded continuing to develop, and then I've all my cousins are really involved in the place as well. And it is heaven. It is absolutely heaven. And it's it's like rugged. And I mean, it's like I felt like alive when I was out there.
It has that effect on a lot of people. It is a really, really special place. I first went there in
animals everywhere,
like monkeys, tapirs, macaws, toucans, and like that's just what's on land.
Yeah.
If you go into the ocean and start diving down, swimming around, like the fish that you see out there,
Unlimited.
And so, you know, the Osa Peninsula is this little bump that sticks off the southern Pacific coast of Costa Rica. And so this lodge, the Jaguar's Jungle Lodge is the name of it. The website is jungladeljaguar.com. And this...
Jungla, so it's J-U-N-G...
Jungla, it's...
L-A?
Jaguar's Jungle in Spanish. Jungla del Jaguar.
Okay.
This place is it's like the the westernmost tip of that peninsula. And they've got this little property that, like you said, backyard is jungle, front yard is open ocean. And all the rest of the peninsula is a national park.
That's so incredible.
So if they just popped at the back of their property, they are stepping into primary rainforest.
Yeah.
And there's not a whole ton of primary rainforest left in the world.
No. You have to take a boat there. You can't just drive there. You have to take a boat. And he has there's like enough room for what, like 50 people, 30 people.
Yeah.
It's like and I mean, it's just killer. And then they go out, like whatever you're eating, like they've caught it that day.
They have an amazing kitchen.
Caught it, been part of it.
And occasionally, like Leo will go out and spearfish, and then the fish that he catches, you know, that's what's on the menu for dinner tonight.
Dude, my cousins are such badasses. My Leo is the one that's he spearfish. If it's outdoors, they can do it. My cousin Pete is such a badass.
All those kids, like I think about what the effect of
girls.
Your growing up environment is on sort of your temperament and your tolerance for life. I think about like that house. On one side of the house is the jungle, which is constantly trying to encroach and is full of monsters. Yeah. And on the other side of the house is the ocean, which is constantly trying to hit you with waves 100%. And destroy you and is full of monsters as well. And so
every time someone goes, so there's an injury, someone cuts off a thumb or something, it's like something happens.
Right, because if you got a serious injury out there that needed treating at a hospital, it would be at least an hour to get you to medical care. So
your wife's a doctor, actually. What am I saying?
And that's part of what makes it complicated for her to go back there is that she's aware of how remote it is, and people behave as if there is a clinic down the road that they can just go to. And she's like,
she's working all the time. She's like, look, I'm on vacation.
Yeah. So
my brother went there. He got like a hook in his ass. He's like,
machete injuries, and everything in the jungle, nearly everything. If you touch it, it'll hurt you.
Yeah.
So
I just realized we've got way over. We got to cut.
All right.
Amazing.
So one last thing about that. So the jungle is like the Jaguar's jungle. Like the lodge is amazing. They've got cabins like that are amazingly comfortable. The kitchen is amazing. Your access to the jungle and the ocean is fantastic. It's out at the edge of the planet. Like it is.
Yeah.
and you have access to such like amazing untouched parts of the rainforest.
Yeah.
That like but
It feels like a real exotic trick that
Yeah.
you're taking.
but there's internet.
Yeah.
There's phone service. If you needed to like go do an expedition into the jungle and have that be your home base,
Yeah.
like that would be an amazing place because it's so far away from regular civilization. But they've managed, to build it into something that
Trip of a
is
lifetime.
just an amazing place to go.
And I've been to Costa Rica before. I love the other places. Nosara's incredible. Santa Teresa, awesome. This place is really, really, really special.
Yeah. I don't know anywhere like this place.
Yeah. Peace out.